The spread operator is 3 periods. This operator allows expressions to be expanded in places where multiple arguments, elements, or variables are expected. I will also talk about the rest operator at the end of this video. The rest operator looks exactly like the spread operator. Here are some common use cases of the spread operator. You can add elements of an existing array into a new array. So here's the first array, certs to add, and we have two array certifications in here: algorithms and data structures and front-end libraries. And then also we have our main array, certifications, and we are going to add the certs to add into it. So responsive web design, and then right here is the spread operator, 3 dots and certs to add. Normally if you put certs to add here, it would add this complete array within the other array. But since we have the spread operator right here, it's going to just add the elements of the array into the new array. So now we're going to have a bunch of different elements, including the elements from the certs to add. And if we do console.log, we'll see that they're all strings in this array. There's no array within the array, and it just lists all these different certifications. Another use case is that you can pass elements of an array as arguments to a function. So let's look at this code right here. So we have this function, add 3 numbers, and there are 3 arguments, x, y, z, and then it's just going to add all of those numbers together and put it to the console. Now we have an array called args with 3 elements, 0, 1, 2. We're going to call the add 3 numbers function, but instead of passing 3 individual arguments like the function calls for, we are going to pass this array, but we're going to use the spread operator. That's going to spread out this array into the individual elements. So if we run that, it's going to put 3 here. It's going to add those numbers. Another thing to know is if there is a 4th element in this array and we run that, we're still going to get 3. It's actually going to ignore this 4th element in the array when it spreads it out because the function only calls for 3 items. Okay, the next thing is you can use it to copy arrays. So let me put in some code here. We're going to have the first array, 1, 2, 3, and now this is how you would just copy the array. You would put the spread operator and then the first array, and it's going to spread out the first array into the second array. And normally, if you didn't copy the array, when you push a new item onto array 2, it would also push on to array 1 if they were referencing the exact same thing. But in this example, we're going to show that we're pushing on another item onto the array, and when we console.log, you will see the arrays are different. ARR and ARR2 are now different because it did not push 4 onto the exact same array. They're completely different arrays. You can also use the spread operator to concatenate arrays, or just put 2 different arrays together. So we have the first array, 0, 1, 2, the second array, 3, 4, 5, and this is one way you could do it. The r1.concat our array 2. But with the spread operator, there's a new way to do it. We're going to say that r1 equals, we're going to spread out the array 1, and then we're going to spread out the array 2, and then that's going to create this is going to concatenate the array 1 and the array 2. And if I just comment this out, and you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The great thing about this is you can just actually add more elements while you're concatenating them. So let's just try that example really quick. And so you can concatenate and add more elements, and you can, if you want, you can put the second array at the beginning, the first array at the end, and it just gives a little more flexibility than just the concat function. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the rest operator. Like I said before, the rest operator looks exactly like the spread operator. It's just 3 dots. But it's basically the opposite of the spread operator. The spread operator spreads or expands an array into its elements. But the rest operator collects multiple elements and condenses into a single array element. Since it is an array, you can use array methods. Let me give you an example of that. So we have this function here, multiply. We're going to pass in 2 arguments, or is it more than 2? We're going to pass in multiplier, and then we're going to pass in an argument that has the rest operator right before the args. Since these 3 dots are being passed in as an argument into a function, that's how we know that it's being used as the rest operator and not the spread operator. So when we have the rest operator and then we have the name called the args, we can actually pass in as many arguments as we want into this function. So when we are passing in things into this function, the first number we pass in will be the multiplier, and then everything else we pass in will be condensed into an array called the args. And then look what we're going to do here. We're going to return the args.map. Since it is an array, you can use array methods like map. And we are going to map each element to this. We're going to return multiplier times the element. Basically, it's going to multiply each element in the args by the multiplier. So if we have var array equals multiply 2, 1, 2, 3, so that's the function. The first number, 2, is the multiplier. Then 1, 2, 3 goes in as an array containing 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to map each of this 1, 2, 3 into this map function. We're going to multiply each item 1, 2, and 3 by the first thing that we passed in, which is the multiplier. So if we run that, you can see at the end, 1, 2, and 3 have also all been multiplied by 2. So we get 2, 4, and 6. Thanks for watching. My name is Beau. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, use your code for good.